Good morning, everybody. We'll just let the last few people kind of trickle in, and we'll get started at 10:30. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Well, welcome everybody. Thanks for tuning in. So today we're going to just talk briefly about the different functionality of the Facebook page. What we're going to cover is like a true beginner's orientation. Katie, if you want to go ahead and pull those slides up, we're going to start out hearing from Katie here in a few minutes. But this idea came out of some evaluation responses that we've gotten, and thanks to those who have filled out the evaluation. We really appreciate that. I will send that link out after this presentation, just because the links aren't clickable in Zoom and all that other fun stuff. So I'll send out an email with the link to the evaluation after this webinar is over. The recording will also be available. But this really is going to be a really beginner's version. When we were talking about notes and some other things for you creating a landing page on Facebook, some people I think got a little overwhelmed by that. And so we don't want to do that today. We just want, for those of you who maybe just started a Facebook page, or you're thinking about starting one, or maybe you've had one and it hasn't taken off, or you haven't put time into it as much as you wanted to. You had somebody, the kid down the street start one for you, or your son or daughter or something like that. So we're going to go over, maybe go to the next slide there. We're going to cover a couple of different concepts. Starting out is, why do this at all? Katie and I are both in the boat of, if this is not going to produce the results that you want, there's no sense in wasting time doing it just to have a presence or something along those lines. So why do it? What are some benefits? And some of the limitations if you're going in other directions that Facebook can help with. We cover also how to stay out of Facebook jail. That's Facebook jail. We will not be offering tips on how to stay out of regular jail, though I think Katie and I have pretty good track record on that so far. We're going to talk just about some nuts and bolts on things like stories versus posts, cover the scheduling concept. A lot of people maybe are partially aware of scheduling. You don't have to sit in front of the computer and at 5:30 when you want to post, you have to click post in that moment. You can actually schedule things to go out later. Covers this insights thing, which is analytics, and it's part of the ready-made market research that Facebook allows you to do. And then we'll, like usual, we will spend a good chunk of time out actually exploring the page, click here, click there, showing you where stuff is. So with that, I think I'll go ahead and turn it over to Katie, and we'll go ahead and get started.
Sure. Thanks, Brett. Good morning, everybody. Yes, it's still morning. As Brett mentioned, we're going to kind of be going through the real basics of Facebook page. One of the biggest things that you need to consider before doing any marketing, any social, especially social media, because it can be a big time suck if you're not careful with it, is who is your target customers and where are they? Like Brett said in the beginning, if your customers are not on Facebook and you know for a fact that they're not on Facebook, then Facebook is not the option for you. The nice thing about Facebook is one, if you're still developing your customer base and you're new to the business within like 1 or 2 years, then Facebook would be a great outlet for you because there are so many people on Facebook. If you missed our online promotions webinar a couple weeks ago, we went through demographics on who's on what platform. Facebook has the broadest reach of all, ranging from 18 all the way up to 65 years of age. So you can really kind of get just about anybody. With over 2 billion people globally that are on Facebook, you really can get almost anybody. So it is a great platform for that reason, and that is the biggest, I think, the biggest draw to Facebook, because it is so broad. The target reach is so open, and Facebook has done a scary good job of collecting data on all of its users. And so you were able to utilize that data to then target your customers specifically. And so this slide just really talks about, how do you determine your target customers? What is their age? What is their gender? If you're selling food product, generally you're speaking more towards women than you are men, because women do about 90% of the home purchasing. What is their income level? If you're selling pasture-raised poultry, for example, and your birds are priced at $4.50 a pound, you're not going to be targeting a lot of people who are on food stamps or a lot of people who are on WIC. You're going to be targeting more of the college educated, the white collar jobs, the people who are working for universities, the people who are living in more city centers. What's the family status? Do they have children? Are they retired? Do they travel a lot? We just covered education. What's their occupation? And then what are their hobbies and interests? Obviously, if you're selling local food, you want somebody to like food. You want somebody to really have a vested interest into their community, into the local economy. All of those things really do play into your target customer and what that person maybe not specifically looks like, as blonde hair, blue eyes, brown hair, brown eyes, but what is their persona? What is their kind of mantra of life? What are they looking for every day? So Facebook, why it matters. So in order to sign up for Facebook, you have to have a Facebook profile. What that means is that is you as an individual. You as a person have to have a profile. Your business then has to have a page. And the reason why I'm covering this it is because, one, it's very simple, but it's also one of those things that can really land you in Facebook jail if you're not careful. The great thing about profiles is when you can set them as private as you want them to. You don't have to have friends on Facebook. You don't have to have anybody being able to find you, and your business page can still be very popular and very open and be liked and shared and everything else like that. That does not reflect on your personal profile. If you create a profile page for your business and Facebook flags your account, you will be sent to Facebook jail. In doing so, one of the ways you can get out is to create that profile into a page. That is not guaranteed that you will be able to have that page, or guaranteed that you'll be able to get out of Facebook jail. The reason I explain that is because I have heard, and I know of several businesses who have created a Facebook profile for their business, were sent to Facebook jail, and now they can no longer have a Facebook page or profile for that business because of that reason. It is explicitly stated in Facebook policies and procedures that your Facebook profile is personal. It is you as a person. Pages are what are used for communities, businesses, organizations, governments, all of that. So it's really important that as you are setting up Facebook, if you're new, as you're creating a page for your business, you are creating a page. The other thing about pages is, and the benefit to you as a user, is it gives you tons of opportunities to do things. You have insights, you can do ads, you can boost posts, you can schedule different things. There are tons of opportunities for you as a business owner with utilizing a page versus a profile, besides staying out of jail. So if you do have questions on that, just let me know, let Brett know, we can walk you through that. We're gonna kind of cover that once we get our hands into Facebook here in a minute. I just wanted to make sure that we cover that kind of a little bit here right now.
And just one thing to re-emphasize is that just because you create a personal profile doesn't mean you have to use it, doesn't mean you have to be active. You don't even have to put a picture of yourself up. You don't have to tell everybody every time you stub your toe. You don't have to participate in Facebook profiles, but you do have to have one in order to create a page.
Yes, that is very true. Thank you, Brett. So do you really need one? Going back to your target customers, if you're new and your target customers are between the ages of 18 and 65, yes, I would highly recommend you have a Facebook page. A lot of people now will go to Google, or they will ask Siri or ask Google on their phone, or they will go into Facebook and search for businesses, or if their friends recommend a business, they will ask them specifically. If you have that page, that Facebook page, they can tag you and you can get those customers directly funneling into your business. It is almost an expected part of online marketing now, because Facebook has been around for 16 years now. It's amazing to think that. And it does show up on Google searches. So long story short, it's still, even though Google changed their core algorithm, it is still showing up on Google searches. You just really have to make sure that your Facebook page is active. You're able to collect reviews and comments. So as you post things, as people engage with your business, you can get that feedback directly to you and make changes, add more products, change products accordingly based on what you're looking for. It's a great way to engage with people. It's a great way to encourage customers to share their products that they're buying with you. If you're selling CSA shares, it's a great way to get recipes from your customers, from those who are constantly reaching out to you. I saw a couple raised hands, and so I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing any questions.
Let's go ahead and try to eight Amish Shield has has a hand up. Let's see. Do you have a question? I'm going to try to unmute you. Don't get freaked out. Okay. Nothing there. We did have one question come in that said, if GoDaddy created hours, is this the type of thing you're referring to? And my guess, based on what you're saying there, GoDaddy would be to claim a URL to have a web page. And so a Facebook page is different from that. And I'll leave it to Katie from there.
Yeah, so your Facebook page, so Facebook is a social media platform. Your URL is really important to reserving essentially your house, your apartment on the internet. Facebook is just kind of like a kiosk in someone else's store, if you're going to think about it in a brick and mortar sense. So it's really, if you have a URL and you're going to develop a website, it's really important to have that Facebook page to mimic the same messaging you get from that website. So the benefits to having a Facebook page versus a profile is you're not limited to 5,000 friends. The only person I know in the entire world who is capped out on 5,000 friends is Warren Beeler. And he now has a Facebook page for himself because he has maxed out his number of friends, which is, I think, semi-hilarious. But he's doing a great job. Insights, another benefit, we talked about that earlier. Brett's gonna talk a lot more about it later. The ads piece, assigning admins. So if you own that page, if I own a page, only I can manage it because it's linked to my profile. If I wanted Brett to manage it, or if I wanted someone else on K-Card to manage it, I'd have to add them in as an admin. You can do that on a Facebook page. You cannot do that on a profile. You have to share your password and all that other information to get to that. With the page, you can just add another admin, and they can log in via their Facebook profile and have access to the page. It's great if you've got a husband and wife team with Facebooks. It's great if you've got a father-son, mother-daughter, father-daughter team, or if it's a bunch of business partners managing one business together. Another thing is you can schedule content. This is great when it comes to that time management piece. As I mentioned earlier, Facebook, social media can be a huge time suck if you're not careful. The scheduling feature allows you to manage that time suckness. Also, you can collect emails for an email list. There's a lot of different features within Facebook. There's something they call a call to action button. So you can get people to subscribe, you can get people to shop, you can get people to call you, message you, all different types of things. It is lower marketing expenses. especially if you're managing your own Facebook page. There are marketing consultants that can manage and post for you. You still have to provide them with some base of content to do that. You're building brand loyalty. So if you're active and responsive and engaged with interaction, you are building that trust between you and the customer, just like you would in person. Social media is essentially just an extension of what you're doing in person. It's another way of connecting with more people on a simpler platform than having a flood of people come to you at a farmer's market or a flood of people coming to your farm and asking you 18,000 questions all at once. It can increase your website traffic, especially with that GoDaddy account, and boost your SEO, which is search engine optimization. So it shows up in Google searches. It allows you to share information. It allows people to find you a little bit easier. The biggest thing with Facebook, I think, and the biggest thing to make sure that you are being successful at it is to make sure that you're following the rules. So only one personal profile allowed per person. Business pages must be linked to your personal account. Like, comment, and share contests are not allowed. They will actually block those posts from being shown to your followers if you put like, comment, or share within the text, within the image. Posting of dangerous or offensive content is prohibited. Facebook has a huge posting policy on what qualifies for dangerous or offensive. One thing I will mention is if you are marketing hemp products, that has been known to fall within that category. So if you are making health claims on hemp products, you cannot advertise for those on Facebook because they will not be approved. And then again, Facebook jail is real. It can be hard to break out of. It can limit your success on social media or on Facebook and Instagram. Facebook does own Instagram, so just remember that across these platforms. Brett, do you have anything to add on that?
No, we did have one question come in. Said, it seems like over time, people I was following or people following me have disappeared. I keep seeing posts where if you cut and paste some sort of message in Facebook, you'll reactivate these users' followers. True, false, workarounds, help. And I responded in the comments just saying most of those copy and paste things are just kind of scam chain letter things. There's some amount of drop off where people get tired of social media and they disable or delete their accounts. That would be my best guess for some of that change and fluctuation in followers. We have some fluctuation where it'll go up and down, plus or minus 10, 15 sometimes over time. Just because people you can disable your account without deleting it and then come back on later, and then that it would reappear as a follower. The main thing I would just monitor, and we'll show this later, is whether people are unfollowing you or if they're just disappearing in general. And you can see that if you post something.
One thing I will add too is every post that you put up on your Facebook page is only shown to about 7% of the people who follow your page. So if you have 100 people who follow your Facebook page, only 7 people are going to see that post. Based on the reaction of those 7 people, then determines the next group who sees it. And based on their reaction, then the next group. It's kind of like a ripple effect for Facebook posts. It does make it challenging, but that initial 7% are your core followers. And so if you're getting people who say, oh, I haven't seen your Facebook post in a while, or you're not showing up in my newsfeed, ask them how much they're engaging with your posts. Because if they're just looking at them or liking them, that's not enough. They have to actually physically make a comment, share the post, do the heart emoji, the new care emoji, all of that. That then is more of a positive impact on your posts and then encourages the Facebook algorithm to share your posts with more of your followers. So one thing that Facebook has rolled out in the last year or so are called stories. And you'll see it if you log into Facebook. It's right at the top of your news feed. You can see stories from all these other people. You can add to your story. They have mimicked this from Snapchat, which is targeted towards a much younger generation, where it's a very short clip or picture that's only live for about 24 hours. After 24 hours, that clip disappears, and there is no, unless you save it to your saved stories or you highlight it, There is no way that anybody else on your social media platform who follows you or likes you can see it again. It is great if you've got a flash sale, if you've got, I saw a lot of coffee shops use them for Mardi Gras, where they had Mardi King cakes or Mardi Gras themed donuts, or Mardi Gras themed coffees that were only for 2 days, 1 day or 2 days, and they would then promote those via their stories. Your news feed, which is your general post, will live longer than 24 hours. And that is where you want to post it if you want to get the most interaction from your audience, from your customers, from your followers, from your clients, whatever it might be. Stories are a great thing, and a little bit more complicated on the Facebook platform than they are on Instagram or Snapchat, but it's a great way to share kind of quick glimpses into what you're doing, quick sales. If you've got tons of ground beef and you're doing a flash sale that Friday or that Saturday, it's a great opportunity to share that information on a short, quick blip without someone coming back the next week saying, hey, I saw you're having a sale, because Facebook posts and news feeds are no longer, or Facebook news feeds are no longer chronological. Scheduling. So I mentioned earlier, again and again, Facebook can be a huge time suck. There are tons of rabbit holes you can jump down. There are tons of different options that you can do. One thing that keeps me from spending more time than usual on social media is I stick to 1 hour a week plus 15 minutes a day. What I mean by that is sit down on Sunday, Monday morning, whatever your slower day is, spend an hour, maximum 2 hours, planning out your posts for that whole week. You should be posting 5 days a week. So if you're open Monday through Friday, you should be posting Monday through Friday. If you're open Tuesday through Saturday, you should be posting Tuesday through Saturday. If you're open Monday through Friday on the farm and then visiting a farmer's market, you really need to post at that farmer's market on Saturday too. Pick a day of the week that you're going to kind of lull out and chill. And so you really want to make sure that you're utilizing that scheduling tool, because that allows you to think through what your posts are, and it allows you to schedule them so you're not scrambling the day of to say, oh, it's 9 o'clock at night, I don't have a Facebook post, I guess I'm just going to skip today. Because if you start doing that, it's going to be a snowball effect, and then you will not be posting on Facebook as much as you should. And if you don't post regularly on Facebook, your ranking in the Facebook algorithm actually goes down, and therefore less people see your posts, and your posts are shown to less amount of your followers. So it is extremely important to share and post regularly. If you're in an off season, try to post 3 days a week, every other day, whatever it might be, and just encourage that constant communication to your customers and your followers. Because one, it's going to keep them engaged in your business in a rather, what you consider a slower time, what they consider might be an exciting time of planting and deciding on what they want and all of that. And you can elicit feedback too. But it also keeps you on your current ranking instead of dropping you back down and you have to work your way back up. All right, Brett, I'm going to turn it over to you for insights.
Okay, well, we did have one question about posts. Specifically, somebody's seen the like and share contests on business pages, or the comment, like, share, whatever all those different things are. Please explain further.
So for example, if I were to be selling t-shirts and I was doing a giveaway where you had to comment on the post, like the post, and share the post to get your friends to follow my page, that contest is technically illegal according to Facebook posting policies. It also will, if you include comment, like, and share within the posting verbiage or within that image, it can knock that post down. So instead of 7% of my followers seeing it, only 1 or 2% might see it. Because Facebook will see the algorithm and the bots that run through every post to see where it ranks within their algorithm will recognize those words, have been programmed to recognize those words, and it will knock that post down so not so many people can see it. Now, I say that in those people who do actually share, which is a very, very small percentage of people, their fans and their followers, their friends, whatever it might be, might see it later, but it probably won't be within a week of that contest. It might be 10 days later. And so if you're doing an online contest, it's really encouraged that you kind of steer people away from the Facebook platform and have them go to an actual landing page to register, or it's a great way to collect emails for your e-newsletter, as well as to encourage people to subscribe, and then all subscribees. You can also do just a blanket giveaway that encourages people to share their favorite recipe and then choose one of those people. So there are lots of ways around those like, share, and comment contests in doing other things.
The other thing I would just say is just be careful to make sure that the thing that you're giving away is something that's going to attract people who are actually going to be interested in your business beyond the contest. Because I saw so they were giving away like a Ford F-150, and it was for like a vinyl siding business. And I would love a Ford F-150, but I'm not particularly going to be interested in the vinyl siding business beyond the scope of the contest. In the same way, like giving away like a PlayStation 4, if you do, nursery and greenhouse sales, there's a lot of people who might be interested in that product, but then you're going to have huge drop off, and you're not. For me, all of this stuff is just a tool to get access to customers or get access to followers who might be interested. And so anything that's kind of like building hype or building a ton of visibility for me and for the types of businesses that we usually interact with, a whole bunch of likes that don't translate into any actual interest in your business aren't really worth a whole lot.
One of the best contests I've seen is the Traveling Gnome, Travelocity. They hosted a contest, it was probably about 4 or 5 years ago, about sharing pictures from your getaway. And they would choose somebody to win a getaway from Travelocity. And essentially it was a very large gift card that you could use on their platform to schedule and book your flight. Giving away baskets, like if you do a salsa basket and you're raising produce, giving away a gift card, taking a percentage off of a CSA share, whatever it might be. Those are ones that really, one, they're serving a need right now because people are looking for ways to serve needs instead of like a buy now type thing. And it's really just a way to encourage people to then come back, especially if your CSA his sign up is not for another 3 months or so.
Cool. Just a reminder, if you have questions, and some people have been doing it, be sure to drop them down in the chat box down there, and we'll try to get to them as they come up. So the next thing I just want to talk about, Facebook calls insights. More broadly, it would just be called analytics. These are pieces of information. These are data that help you answer questions. That's how I look at them. And so in this case, specifically, who are your customers? What content do they want? And when are they online? So those are three, feel like kind of big questions. And they are big questions in some ways. But the answering them can be a little simpler than maybe it seems. And we have actually built-in tools within Facebook to do that. If you could go to the next slide. So this is one I'll actually show you the real-time version of this with more followers. But this is a graph. It looks kind of like a whale, but it's not a whale. It's actually showing when our followers are on Facebook. And so this is an weekly average. So down here at the bottom of the screen, you see that we don't have a whole lot of night owls that are on at 3 a.m. We have a big bump around 8 or 9 a.m., pretty steady throughout, I guess, the workday. And then another bump up again later in the evening, 6 or 7 o'clock. And for us, the way that we used this, because that's the thing, is like, oh, that's cool information. Great, good to know. I was having this is a couple years ago, I was having all of our posts go out at 8 a.m. And we were getting pretty good traction, but it was from a lot of the same people. So all I did was adjust and start having half of our posts scheduled to go out at 7:30 or 8 or 9 o'clock, probably a little bit earlier, more like 7:30 or 8. And we got a whole new group of people engaging with the post and sharing them and all that kind of fun stuff. And so this is stuff that if you have a page, not a profile, if you have a page to do your business and you have I think 25 followers, it used to be at least, Facebook will collect this data for you. If you have had a Facebook page for a while, Facebook has been collecting this information like this and a whole lot else, a whole lot others for you. Okay.
It's also a great way to see, I get the question all the time, what's the best time to post on Facebook? It is dependent on your followers. Now, I will say, generally speaking, it is in the morning between 8 and 9 and in the evenings between 8 and 9, only because that is when people have the most time. It's pre-work or during the commute, and then post-work, post-kids going to bed if they've got small children. And so it's just, it's a way for you to see the best times. Now, if you're running a lunch business, your customers might be coming to your page at 10 o'clock in the morning trying to figure out what lunch specials you have. And so it's a really good opportunity for you to see when people are coming and then when is the best time for you to post and to change things around to see what's working and if you can get more engagement from different posts at different times. So don't be afraid to play around with it.
Perfect. Click again, and there should be another. So this, I'm not going to go very deep on this. This is actually from Google Analytics. This is a different variation on the same thing. You can see this is considerably more complex. Facebook's is nice and simple in a lot of ways. So you can go ahead and click again, Katie. And this one here is actually, these are old pictures, but these are post level. So for each individual post that we did, it's showing the amount of reach, the amount of engagement for each of those things. We're going to go in and look in actual Facebook, and I'll show you where you can get this. For me, this is a really nice way to take a look at how did certain posts at certain times of day work better, but also what types of content do people on my page care about. I have found across time, believe it or not, you all see what you're looking at here, pictures with my face in it and with the faces of people like Katie and farmers that we work with and extension agents perform really, really well. People like seeing faces. I think there's also a certain algorithmic advantage for Facebook to show pictures with faces in them because they know that we like to see them. But in general, I have found that really basic information about growing stuff and marketing, pictures and faces, and little like small updates are things that people tend to really like. And the only way that I was able to do that systematically was to go in and look at post level insights. Again, all of this we will look at in the actual Facebook platform. Okay, does anybody have any questions before we pop out and explore in the browser? Let's see here. If you have a page for your farm, how do you post pics to that page when what comes up is your personal page and you try to post from your phone? Gotcha. So you got to, in the app, let me go to the app.
There's two ways you can do it. So Facebook has a Pages Managers app, which you can download, and that posts directly to the page. You can also go within the Facebook app, and on the right-hand side of the app, you'll see 3 bars. If you click on that, that's your menu option. Yep, or if you've got a newer phone, it's on the top right, and it shows you, or a Samsung phone, not newer phone, but Samsung. And it shows you the different pages, and then you click on that page, and then once you're on that page, it manages everything from there. You can manage anything on that page from your phone.
So again, that in the app, in my app at least, it's the bottom right hand, three little lines, and then it'll show you. So I actually manage like 6 different pages, and you have all of them there, nice and in order and ready to roll.
Yep.
But you have to.
I have a non-Apple phone, so it's on the top right for mine. All right.
And if you have questions and stuff beyond this, you're more than welcome to follow up with either or both of us. We're happy to kind of help and walk you through some of these, especially the more technical questions.
Okay, we ready for Facebook Live? Okay, so if you have set up a page already, this is where you will go to manage anything. The basic needs that you need when you create a Facebook page is your profile picture, which is this circle picture right here. If you have a logo, you want to make sure that that logo is sized correctly to put in this little image, or at least most of that logo is sized correctly to fit into that little circle. You want to have a cover photo, which is this big photo right here. You can do a slideshow. You can also post a video. You can create, if you watch Brett's webinar from last week, you can create a Facebook cover photo in Canva. If you want to do a collage of photos, you can do that there. The other thing that we talked about earlier was a call to action. So right now, K-Card has a learn more call to action. You can change that. You can edit the button and you can choose all different types of options. So downloading your app, shopping with you if you've got an e-commerce store, learning more about your business, which can take them directly to your website, contact you, or book with you as well. You will also see kind of how you can create different posts or information. So you can go live, you can create a live option. You can create an event, which we'll go into here in a little bit. You can create an offer if you are selling something and you want to do a promo. Or if you're looking for employers or employees, you can post a job as well. So this is the real basic of what you'll see when you set up a Facebook page. So once you've got your pictures, the next thing you need to do is get information about yourself. So that is the about section. Here, this is a really basic piece. It is your address, your phone number, an email, business information. Facebook will fill this in based on the information that you put in here. And you can add more information if you want to. So your email, your website, and then about in a basic overview. So to edit this section, so to create this section, if you don't have it or to edit it, you will go over here to settings. And you will go to page info. And here's where you can add in all the information about yourself. The pieces that I would highly encourage you to include would be a description. This is not just, this is your elevator speech for Facebook. So this is your short 30-second, maybe a minute blurb about who you are and what you do that really allows people to say, oh, I'm interested in this business. Oh, I'm interested in this farm. I want to know more. Your category, depending on what you're doing, depending on what you are, you could be a retail food service, you could be an agricultural service, you could be a farm or farm store. Facebook has pre-populated these. You will go in and start typing and see if something pops up. A phone number. I would highly encourage you to have a phone number. If you have a personal phone and you don't want to put your personal phone number on there, Google Voice, which is through Google, if you have a Gmail account, you can set it up. It's a free phone number essentially for zip codes all around the United States that you can go in and you can pick a phone number and it calls directly to your phone. So you don't have to set up a whole new line on your cell phone. You don't have to set up a whole new line for your home phone. You can just pick a phone number, download the app. It'll ring directly to your cell phone. It goes through your Google account. Download the app on your phone, rings directly to your phone, and it's a really great way to get you a phone number that's not your personal number. And then if something happens, if you go out of town, if the business is closed for a short period of time, you can turn that phone number on and off. A website, if you have a website, put that here. If you don't, you can always add it later if you have one. And then an email. Again, highly encourage you to have an email. It's another way that people can reach you. A lot of people now are using Messenger more than they used to. That's a great opportunity too, but it's good to have an email for those who don't use Messenger. If you have a street address, put it in there. I am kind of 50-50 on putting your home address on there. If you've got an on-farm store, then great. If you want people showing up at your house, then great. But you can always put your address on there and then uncheck this box as well. The hours is also important. If you're a farmer's market, you can change your selected hours. If you're always open, and I mean always open, you can click that. If you don't people showing up at your house at 9 o'clock at night or 6 o'clock in the morning, then click that. If you do mind, then set some hours, set some parameters around it. So you're not getting calls, you're not getting texts, you're not getting all kinds of stuff at weird hours of the night of people trying to get your products or trying to come visit you. A lot of these are kind of things to fill in as you know more about your business, things to fill in as you work through more of your Facebook. Price range is great if you're selling products. If you're not, if you're more of a service-based business, or if you're a farmer's market, then it's not necessary. And then your products. This is actually very important. What you have to offer. This is kind of a little bit of elongated about what do you have. So if you have a CSA, you might want to put seasonal produce, including this for summer, this for spring, this for winter, this for fall. If you do 4 seasons, if you don't, then include what you do grow. And that is it on the about section. So there's that. The next thing that any questions on the about section so far?
Katie, would you mind just going back to the main page and showing how you got into the?
Yep. So you can get in there 2 ways. The way I got in was I went to the settings, which is up here in the top right corner underneath your notifications bell. You go to settings and you will go to page info, which is right here, the little pencil on the left hand side. Under general, it's the second tab down. You can also go to your page, and on the left hand side you will see the different tabs, the different pages that you have linked to your business page, and you can go to about here and it'll allow you to edit. If you hover over something, you will see the little edit. I'm pointing to my computer like you can see it. You will see the little edit icon right here, and you can just click edit and it'll allow you to edit that specific box. And so all of these have the little edit right next to it. Edit business details. You can put in a founded date. You can enter business types. You can enter all different types of information too from this page. Does that help?
Perfect.
Okay, so post types. So there are lots of different types of posts that you can create on Facebook. They are listed all right here too, if you have any questions about those. Some of the bigger ones, if you go to your insights, and Brett's going to talk about this a little bit more here in just a minute about insights. But the different, hold on. Here we go. So the different post types would be a link, it would be a photo, it would be an event. An event's a photo. A status change. So a status change is just your basic post. Anything that you want to do can be done within this box. Right on your homepage, create a post. You can choose fun backgrounds. So you can do rainbows, you can do bubbles, you can do funky midnight colors. You can do fancy ones. All different types. This is just a basic post, and this is what is considered a status update. Now, if I were to do a simple one and not do any background like this, and I were to copy and paste a link and put it in here, that would be considered a link post. If I was to share an event that we're hosting, that would be an event post. If I were to put in photos or videos, that would be a photo or video post. Those are your basic 4 different types of posts. One thing Oak has done, and some of the other organizations have done a watch party. So for the Big Little Farm, they did a watch party for that. There are tons of different opportunities that you can do for posts. The biggest thing is to think it through. Think about what pertains to your business, what relates back to your business, and share from there. You can always share other people's posts as well. Brett, I'm going to turn it over to you for scheduling.
Perfect.
I'm going to stop my sharing.
Cool. All right, so I got my page pulled up here now, and you should be able to see all these different components. So I just want to make sure we reorient and everybody On the left here, we have these different tabs that Katie was talking about, and your posts will end up under there. Your about, she showed how to edit that. You have reviews where people can leave reviews for your business. This will be a collection of all your different photos and videos, any live related stuff. So live videos, I'll talk about that here in just a minute. The community tab is where people can like post things. So these are other users posting things or mentioning us. And then the last one here is events. So that's where this is the kind of the home base for all these tabs. And then up here across the top are some other things that these items will appear to users out in the world. The ones across the top here are yours specifically. And so they'll appear when you're doing your page management for your page. And so there's specific notifications for the page, inbox for anybody who sent messages directly to our page. And then here under the More section, which is what we're going to focus on right now, we see a couple of different components. Okay, so the first one here that I'm going to talk about is publishing tools. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And again, if you are not seeing any of this functionality the way that we are looking at it, it's likely or it's possible that you have a personal profile that you're using for your business. So again, if you're not seeing any of this stuff, you probably need to look into setting up a page in the first place. So just as a note. So within publishing tools, these are all the different posts that I have put out there in the world and when they went up. I have not been posting a ton. I've just kind of posting things specifically when we need to promote something or share something from someone else. So this is all the things that we have posted in the past. Over here on the left, we have a number of different options here. It can be kind of overwhelming. So in this case, all we're going to pay attention to is scheduled posts. Okay. So I'm going to hit scheduled posts here. And you can see I don't have any scheduled right now, mainly because everything is changing so quickly that also time is flying by. So the things that I do schedule they kind of vanish. So what we're going to do actually is schedule a post. So here, you have to go in here under this now. This is the new way you have to do it. It used to be you could do it right on this main page. I don't have that option anymore. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to hit create post. And I have just some pictures here. So I'm on my desktop. So I'm just going to drag them in. These are just from Pexels. And this is not going to be a real post, but I could say something like, apples are ready. I know it's way too early. Nobody yell at me. Apples are ready, on sale, $1.99 a pound while they last. Okay, and then I would have maybe a link address, something like that. Okay, so now normally if you're used to doing this, if you've ever done this before, you would click post, but you can see here it says schedule post. And so you just click schedule, and then you can go into a number of different dates here. You can schedule things up to, I think 90 days out. It's allowing me to go further. But let's say I want to schedule that to come out this Friday, and I can set, and this is going to be my standard time here, 9:30 a.m. Okay. And there are options to get suggestions, but sometimes it doesn't work. I don't know. I may not have enough data, but I know what my customers want, so I'm going to go, and this is how I'm going to do it. Custom right here, 9:30 a.m. That's when I want to show it to people. And so I hit schedule, and once it's done, under scheduled posts, now this is showing up. And so once you have gone through your weekly scheduling session, you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these for the week all lined up here with the dates of when they're going to go live. If you decide, I think that's actually, I want it instead of 9:30 a.m., I want it to go at 9:30 p.m. You could just make sure you get the date right. 9:30 p.m. and let's reschedule that. and now it's rescheduled for that day at 9:30 p.m. Okay, so this is a really powerful tool. If you've already seen this before, I apologize that it's, but we did brand this as a beginner's orientation. So scheduling posts is a really, really powerful tool for you to be able to keep messaging out there, even if you're not sitting in front of your computer or on your phone all the time. Okay. The next thing I want to show you is up here again in our little top bar of page management links. I'm going to go to insights. Now, we talked about this multiple times now. Insights are what we would call analytics. So these are pieces of data about your customers. So this is on the Center for Crop Diversification page. We have around 2,000 plus or minus followers. So we're not a huge page by any stretch. That may sound like a lot. That might sound puny, but just to give you an idea of what we're looking at. So before, we asked a couple of different questions. And those questions were, who are your customers? When are they online? And what kind of posts do they like? And so those three questions we can go in here and we can answer. And so first I'm going to go down to people. This is the thing when Katie said it's a little scary. This is what we're talking about. These are the people who like our page. We're very more popular with women than men. I don't think that's my charms. I think it's probably the type of content that we're putting out there. Horticulture, local foods, those types of things. You can see our age distribution here. I'm pretty pleased with this, actually. This is kind of what I would probably be shooting for. It'd be cool to have a little bit of a bigger representation down here, but I can understand based on kind of our traditional reach. You can see where people are and where they're located down specifically to the, this type of granular data, granular information isn't necessarily important for me. If I was looking at this, and Katie mentioned earlier the role that women play in a lot of food procurement for the household. If I had a food sales business and my following was 90% men, I would be really thinking hard about ways to do outreach to build my following to include more women. If I sell products that are mainly relevant to people above 55 for one reason or another, and a lot of my people are down here, again, I would be thinking about targeting and reaching up to these groups. Now, on the flip side, if I'm thinking about what new products to develop, one of the things that I would consider, along with the rest of my market research that I did working with K-Card, would be to think about, okay, these are the customers that I have. What are some products that they are interested in that I might be able to sell? And in social media, what are some of the different types of content that these groups are interested in? And so we mentioned this earlier, but where we're going to go for that is to posts. And I'm going to scroll down and we're going to look at some of the posts that we've put up. Now, our stuff has been really heavy on the video and webinar and other content, sharing stuff out from other people, blog posts from K-Card. So right now, it's not necessarily a typical time. We also have a lot of people home looking at their computers more than usual. But let's see. The types of posts that we have been getting the most traction on for us right now are these webinar images. You can see this is just a photo. It's just this. But in the normal timeline, that's why I showed you the old pictures. In a normal time, we have clearly seen that people like to see us, the people behind the scenes working. They really like seeing that. Whether that builds actual, whether it helps us to educate people or not, I think there's a little bit of a question mark there, but part of the reality is we are a public service institution, and serving and interacting with the public is part of what we are trying to do. I had a post, let's see, a couple weeks ago that was kind of like the people behind yeah. So anyway, the bottom line here is different post types will get different levels of reaction. I do a whole talk just on analytics and insights and stuff, but there's a difference between reach and engagement. And for me, engagement is really, really important because I want not just to be exposed to a lot of people, but I want people to be able to see I want people to be able to show me that they actually like the post and that they're actually engaged. I would rather have 200 really engaged people than 20,000 who just don't really care, but they see my posts personally. That's just how we approach it. The last question I asked was how when are the people that we work with online? And there's actually been a little bit of a shift here for us to being a little bit earlier compared to that earlier, that picture I showed you a few minutes ago. I still think it's a good idea, as Katie pointed out, that 8 a.m. window is pretty nice. You get it out in front of people, you get it out in front of that small cross section of your followers and give them a chance to like it. And then there's lots of other people online for that to be turned around and shown to by Facebook. So again, I got into here by going up to more and going down to, it was under more, under insights, okay? There's a whole lot more that you can look at within insights, but the point here is some of this stuff is right here. I mean, I'm just on this posts tab, we have a lot of good information to see. All those recipe screenshots I've been sharing haven't been doing terribly well, but when I share a picture or I share a video of me walking out to feed the cattle, everybody really, really likes it. Those types of things to really understand what part of your brand your customers are interested in. Again, available, if you already have a page set up, available under the Insights tab. It's already been collecting that information for you.
And one thing else I'll add on to insights too is there are insights on your stories if you choose to use stories. You can see who's watched it, how long they've watched it for, all of that information, and it's a really great opportunity too. So if they're a little bit more advanced, they're a little bit more harder to grasp the concept on since they are so new to Facebook, but it is another opportunity.
Perfect. So a couple other things I just want to show you, a couple other functional items. We mentioned this in our last webinar, and that was the notes function. And so the notes, right now you can see in my tabs, this is where it would be, it's not showing up. And the reason is because it was turned off, and I wanted to have it off in case yours are turned off so you can see how to turn them on. The reason why we would use notes is for something that is a little bit more permanent than a regular post. Maybe something that's a little bit text heavy, the equivalent of like a landing page. So examples would be menus or price lists, if you do meat or if you do, produce or flowers or whatever, and you have like a regular price list or a weekly price list, notes could be one way to post that out to your customers. Descriptions of offerings, if you have a CSA sign up with a link, those types of things, notes can be a way to communicate that information. And so just like Katie did earlier, I'm going to go up here to settings, and I'm going to click settings. And those links that were over there on the left on the main page are called tabs. Okay, so I'm going to click templates and tabs here. And I know this is a little overwhelming, but just focus on the things that we're specifically focusing on rather than trying to look at and figure out what all of these different things mean. So I mentioned the tabs. So here's all those tabs that were on there on my page. Okay, I'm just going to go, not to confuse you, I'm going to go back real quick. So we got home, posts, about, reviews. On my page, see, we've got home, posts, about, reviews. So this is where we're controlling that. Okay, is within templates and tabs under settings. And right now, I'm gonna go ahead and add the notes tab. The notes tab is missing for me, and I'm gonna add it, okay? I'm gonna hit close. And right now it's all the way down at the bottom. I want it to be at the very tip top so people can see it. So I'm gonna drag it up above my posts, okay? And it's now up there and on. So let's go back to my page. And now you can see just below the home, there's this notes option. Now we showed you already how to do notes. I'll go ahead and just show you real quick. So you're just gonna go click add a note, and you could say price list for 2020. And then you could have prices here. And I'm gonna shrink my screen for a second. And you can add in, well, you got to add it. I'm going to add a photo, and I'll just use one that I've already, let's go upload a new photo, why not? Desktop. And you could just type these in just like you would any other, Word document or whatever. The formatting is a little bit weird. I added the photo by clicking this here, photo. And then if you go ahead and hit publish. Okay, cool, thank you. Now I'm going to go back to my page. And now up here at the top is my note. And this is where this would appear. This is where this would appear right here above everything. Okay. And so again, if you wanted to have a really permanent, semi-permanent piece of information at the top, you can have that with this note right here at the top. And you would consider adding things like when your hours are, when and where to find these products, that type of information. But you can use the note to help try and communicate that information. Okay. Another option, another piece of functionality, is you have the ability to do what's called pinning a post. And what that means is under your posts tab here, if you have a pinned post, then that means that particular post will stay at the very tip top on your page until you tell it not to anymore. So for instance, if I really wanted this page to be the thing that if I have a sale, or if I have a particular, a new website that I want people to see, or I have frequently asked questions or something like that, and I have a post or a really popular video, I can take and I can actually pin this to the top of my page. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And now, just below my notes, but at the very tip top of my posts, is this pinned post. And so these are the notes, and the pinning are just two options for customizing what information is at the very, very forefront for your customers to see. Okay, so that's mainly what we're doing here, is we're saying in the big noisy mess that is the internet, and even in the noisy mess that is Facebook, if you come to my page, if you scroll for 1 second, you're going to come across information that I want to show you. Now, whether that information is good or not is up to you, but that's just something to keep in mind. Okay. Any questions, Katie, or you kind of fielding them as they come?
I am fielding them as they come.
Cool. Sweet. All right. Awesome. So I'm going to cover events really quickly, and then talk about video and live, and then we'll turn it back over to Katie to kind of wrap us up. And if we have more questions, we can take them then. So under events here, I have this down pretty far. I have some of my past events that I've been involved with. I don't do a ton of event scheduling. A lot of the things that I do are scheduled by some group in, local to different places across the state. I might speak at a conference, or I might speak at a field day or something like that. And usually the local partner is the one who creates those events. And so if you want to use an event, the way that you would do it is you would just go in here, you go, click on your event tab, and again, make sure you're on your page and click create event. Okay. And then you just simply fill in, it'll automatically use your cover photo, but I would encourage you to use a different kind of photo specific to the event that's kind of attractive. You could do like a flyer here. Just keep in mind that you'll have other text and stuff involved. You can add the event name. You can put in a specific, like a specific location. So let's see. Oh, I guess it helps if you put it in the right place. So it finds the location for you, puts the location name here, and you hit save. And now you've got an actual physical location that when people pull it up on their phone, they're able to click on it, and it'll take them to their map app if you are like if you had something at your farmer's market at a downtown or something like that, they could then navigate directly to that. Description, make sure you tell people what the thing is actually about. I have found over and over again, people are, their minds are coming from so many different backgrounds and locations and everything else that sometimes I think things that are really, really clear aren't clear at all. So just be as clear as you can. We have the option here that's relatively new, which is to make this an online event. Traditionally, events in the past have been used for in-person events. And so this is a new thing, especially in particular in the midst of this COVID-19 stuff that's become a new reality. But if there is a physical location, you want to leave that unchecked. Let's see here. The advantages to events, let me click out of here and go to a past one here. The advantage to events is that it allows people, so you can see here, 52 people went, 354 were interested. You all know this if you've ever interacted on Facebook. An event allows you to let the event organizer know if you're interested or going or not going. And what's important about that is if you say you're interested or you're going, you can continue to receive updates about this event. What I mean by that is, I'm going to scroll down here and I'm going to show you in the discussion of this event, which we did last year, I was able to, the event itself was on March 7th. A week after the event, I was able to follow up and post and say, hey, everybody, here's this piece of information that we put out. I sent out a reminder the day of. I sent out information a week ahead, just to be able to keep people involved and keep people interested. So I think of it as allowing you to kind of get your hooks, allowing you to let the customer say, it's okay for you to get your hooks in me by clicking going or interested. It also allows you to kind of have a little bit of a sense of potential turnout. I will say that these numbers, we had probably 120 people at this event. So, sometimes 1,000 people say they're interested in something and then 10 show up. But a lot of times you can get a sense ahead of time of what's possible with that. Something that Katie and I were talking about yesterday, if you create an event, especially right now, if you create an online event that lasts a week or 2 weeks and it's 2020 season kickoff, we're going to be posting regular, updates as we, build up to the first opening day of farmers market or build up to our first CSA pickup. If you create that kind of event and you get people buying into it, that's awesome. But do not forget to post to your main page, like actually in your timeline. Let's go. Don't forget about these main posts, because there's only going to be a certain cross section of people that get involved with your event, and not all the people who may be interested in the content that you're putting out are going to be involved in that event. So just don't forget and don't neglect the rest of your page and put all your effort behind a particular event. There could be a downside to that.
Hey, Britt, can I interrupt you for just a second?
Yep.
Steve had a really good question, and I've had this question a bunch of times, is it possible to move or add followers or friends from your personal page to your business profile page? One thing, you cannot exactly move friends, but you can share your business page on your profile page. So you as a person go to your business page and share it, and then encourage people to like and share it. And that is where you're going to be posting updates on your business or products available or anything like that. You can also, what's really neat is if you are the owner of the page, the business page on Facebook, and you have a profile, and you have and you're set up to allow people to friend request you and everything else on Facebook, you can invite your friends to like your page. On the right hand side of your page, if you scroll down, Brett, it shows you how many of your friends, no, you're okay, how many of your friends like your page. And then you can go there, and there's that blue button underneath their pictures that says invite friends. You can go and blanket invite all the rest of your friends who don't like your page to come like your page as well. And so that's another way to encourage people. And then that will pop up as a notification in their Facebook saying, Steve or Brett or somebody invited you to like this page, and I'll name the page, and they can go and click like. They can go to the page itself and explore and then click like. Those are the only ways right now that you can can encourage friends to like a business page. Again, it goes back to that beginning piece of it's really important to set up a business page for your business instead of a profile page, or else you will be rebuilding that following and trying to move that following over.
Yeah, and depending on how many people you have, if it's a small enough number, you can consider even just messaging people and letting them know, hey, I had this set up and I'm starting the business page, so just letting you know, so people don't, because sometimes if it's just such and such invited you to like this thing, it might, depending on how well they know you and how, all of those kinds of variables, you may have to, do a little reinforcement to just say, hey, this is what's happening. This is what we're trying to do. Cool. So the last thing I just want to talk about, we have video option here. So I do a good bit of video content. I do a lot of it for other people in the college and out in the state, trying to help people as much as possible. We do have some of our own content here. One thing I would suggest is what we've seen as far as just a positive response is if you create a video, even if you have a YouTube page, consider uploading it here as well directly to Facebook. And the reason why I say that is because in my experience, links from YouTube don't perform nearly as well, even the same content. I did a couple of experiments last year, even same or similar content. The Facebook link the YouTube link just doesn't get shown to as many people, it seems to me, as compared to uploading it natively. And so it's a little bit of a pain, but it can be actually well worthwhile. So if you have the video file ready to go and you're dropping it in one place, just drop it into another place. And so you can either do that by dropping it up here. If you're more advanced, there's also a creator studio. I'm not going to get into that today, but the other component, this is a live video. This one right here is actually a live video that I did a couple of weeks back. It's a recording that got uploaded. But you can go into your live videos and see a history of the things that you've done in the past. But on your main page, this is one of those content types that Katie was talking about. You can go live. And so this doesn't have to be a scary thing. I know some people are really nervous about live video. But this is it'll look a little bit different on your phone, obviously, but this is what it looks like on your desktop. And so if you don't even know what a stream key is, you want to click on use camera. And so what that'll do is it'll bring up, and this would be the thing that got displayed out to people. Okay, I haven't started the live video yet. You can give it a title, if you're, summer update for farmers markets, we're going to be opening and you want to do a live video. I would suggest, if you want, just kind of freaking me out having like 3 layers of my face. If you want to do live video, plan out a little bit of content. Don't just kind of go on there and start spewing off whatever you think. Sketching out some ideas of the things you want to say. Also, consider staying on long enough that if people are interested, they have a chance to tune in and hear what you have to say. You have to think about a live video, not like a YouTube video where you press play at the beginning and you watch it all the way through to the end. You have to think of it almost like when you watch the news. So when you watch the news, you do have people who tune in right at 5:30. You have other people who tune in at 5:45. You have other people who tune in for the last 10 minutes. And so if you notice, when you do watch broadcasts, I've done a lot of live videos, and so I've kind of had to figure this out for myself. But when you do live broadcasts, if you have a main point, you're going to want to mention it every couple of minutes. It's like, okay, this is what we're doing. We're out here for the first day, opening day at Farmers Market. Welcome to everybody. We have lots of great stuff. And then you go on to cover, here's a vendor, here's a vendor, here's a vendor. just for those of you just tuning in now, we're out at the farmer's market. This is opening day, and you'll feel a little bit like a broken record, but you'll see, and you can actually see when people tune in and are watching. But just don't forget that some people are going to jump in the middle of that and give them something to get out of that. Something that is, I mean, it's not brand new, but it's newer, is the ability to schedule a live video. I really like this function for a couple of different reasons. One, it gives a post for people to look forward to, which is great. It is a different kind of content to sort of build buzz around something in particular. But if you remember from the events, I'm all about trying to get a little bit of a hook in people to remind them. And what I mean by that is if they see this post and you have, instead of, whatever you want it to say,
just to be clear, this is not pre-recording a video and then sharing at a specific time. This is kind of reserving that news slot, and then you get in front of the camera at 5:30 to go live.
Correct.
So
to
be very clear about that.
And it won't just start without you prompting it, and it won't I mean, if you're a little bit late, it could still work. But the cool thing about, let's see. Well, it's not up for refreshing over here, but the cool thing about this is this post, people can actually click get reminder, and it will alert them 10 minutes before you go on, and then it'll let them know when you start. Anytime that you can allow people to opt in to being reminded about something, the better off you're going to be. And so in this case, this would be for really time sensitive stuff that you want to get out, personal messages about your brand or about, changes. It might be something like you go live to tell people we're setting up a new Facebook page. Please go over and like that instead of here. But the live functionality is something that actually can work really pretty well and it doesn't have to be super intimidating. You could do this from your phone. You could do it out if you have good service. You could do it out at a farmer's market. You could do it if you're, dropping stuff off at if you're doing chores on the farm or whatever, just to give you an idea, this is what a day in our, a morning in our life looks like. I'm headed out here to do this, and then I'm going to go up here and do this, those types of things. And one of the messages from our webinar last week, or whenever it was, about promoting online sales, is with all of these different post types, with all of these different approaches, you're going to kind of just have to try some things and see how they work. And there is not, Katie and I have both, spent some time thinking about promoting personal ventures in other times. And there's sometimes a perception that if you build it, they will come. If you just put stuff up on Facebook, people will just knock down your door. And it does require work. Marketing there's a reason why there's jobs in marketing, and people can spend their whole time marketing their products. Even for these webinars, I can tell you, putting the content together and delivering it is a big part of it, but actually putting together the flyers and communicating with everybody and getting it up on the website and getting it out on Facebook and getting out the emails, all of those marketing components take as much time as putting together the presentation. And so with all of this Facebook stuff, it's not going to be instantaneous, and it's not going to be necessarily super, super easy. But if you use things like post scheduling, if you have a decent plan of where you're trying to go, and if you reach out for the kinds of support that are offered, I think it's something that could actually end up paying off pretty well for you. Katie, did you want to just mention real quick before you wrap us up, just the services that K-Card offers?
Sure. On a marketing social media communications platform or basis, we can work with you one-on-one to set up a Facebook page, to look at your Facebook page and see where the holes are, see where you need to put a little bit more emphasis, really dig deep into those posts if you've been posting, and say, okay, what are your insights? What do those look like? And help you do a little bit more of an analysis piece on it. We can also work with you on developing that posting schedule. So what do you want to be posting Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? What do you want to be posting Monday, Wednesday, Friday? Whatever it might be. and really kind of do a deep dive into what your social media strategy will be. We cannot actually do the posting for you, but we can help you really brainstorm, be that sounding board, and really work with you one-on-one on those pieces. In addition to the marketing and social media piece, we also do website reviews and recommendations. I can look at all of your social media platforms and really kind of do a deeper dive into your total online presence. And then how does that relate to your total marketing strategy? Because it's really important is that social media, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it might be, is not a standalone platform for your business to utilize. You have to have it flowing into all other parts of your marketing strategy, all other parts of your business for it to really be worth your while and to work the way it's supposed to work. In addition to that, we do financial record keeping assistance and setup, business planning, grant facilitation, all different types of business services directly to you. And we've have over, probably 40 years of experience between all the K-Card staff with working with agricultural businesses. And so if you have any questions, you can contact me directly. I can put my contact information in the chat. If you have, or you can contact our main K-Card phone number and our main K-Card line, and Haley, who's on the other end of that phone, will direct you to the best staff person to work with you as well. Yeah, I'm going to finish up, Brett. Okay. So going back to Facebook, the great thing about Facebook and the great thing about social media in general is that it is forgiving. What goes on the web stays on the web, but it is also forgiving if you don't make a big buffoon out of yourself. And so don't be afraid to try something, and don't be afraid to share different posts and see what works. We've talked about that. I know Brett and I have had other conversations about what works, what doesn't work, what we've tried, what we want to try and haven't tried, and why we should or should not be trying it. And the biggest thing I can say is if you can try it, or if you have questions about trying something, let us know and we'll be happy to help and talk through it. We probably have tried it on a personal or work-related standpoint and can give you kind of our feedback on it. And to know your target audience too. I cannot hammer that point enough home, because post-pandemic, they are anticipating e-commerce to continue to grow. This is not going away, folks. I hate to say it, and I have said it since I've come to K-Card, and it's just not going away. It's going to be part of our society. People are going to rely on that e-communication because they do not want, they're having that fear mentality of what would happen if they were to do it in person. They're liking the convenience of being able to do things at home. And so if you are going more towards e-commerce, if you are looking at ways to target more customers and encourage them to do pre-ordering or online sales or whatever it might be, social media is where you've got to be. And again, scheduling is super important. I use a pen and paper to plan everything out, and then I just check things off as I schedule them up. It's a great way to do it. It's not the best way. It works for me. It works for my brain. You might be a little bit more laissez-faire and post on a daily basis. I can't remember to do that every day, and so if I schedule, it works a lot better for me. I'm also a planner at heart, so it really it plays to that strength as well. But again, do what works best for your business. If Facebook is not going to work, then Facebook, no matter how you slice it, is still not going to work for your business. But you need to be where your customers are. If you're not where your customers are, then you're not marketing your product. Brett, I'll turn it over to you to promote next week's.
Perfect. Well, interestingly, I think next Tuesday, we're going to take a break. And we're going to do that to try and figure out if we should keep offering these Tuesday webinars. I think that they're useful to some people, it seems, which is great. But it's also, we've been putting these together, building the ship or building the plane and flying it at the same time. And so, yeah, we just need to figure out a little bit more of a strategic approach and be able to plan some out a little bit and promote them. So next Tuesday, we will not be having a webinar like this. I think next Thursday, there probably will be a webinar related to farmers markets and COVID-19. that's not firmly scheduled yet. That would be a week. That would be I don't know, May 20 something. But no webinar next week. I will send out the 21st. Awesome. So I will send out an email with the evaluation for this week here in just a few minutes via email. I just want to reiterate, Katie just shared her contact information there. K-Card can provide all kinds of direct support to you in these exact things that we've been talking about today. Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot else to share. Please fill out the evaluation. Let us know kind of what you're interested in so we can plan things going forward. Big thanks to Katie for all the great information she shared today. And we will see you all sometime soon. Take care. Thanks, Katie. Bye-bye.